Hello, friends, and welcome back to Mr. Language. I'm your host, Mr. Language.
And I'm Anna. Today we're going to talk about a big question. A question that every single English learner has asked at some point. How long does it take to become fluent?
Yes, Anna, I think I've been asked this question at least 1,000 times in my teaching career, and I understand why. Learners want a clear answer. They want to know if it's going to take 6 months, 1 year, or maybe 10 years.
But the truth is, there isn't a single answer because it depends. It depends on so many factors. How much time you study, how you practice, your environment, your motivation, and even your personality.
Exactly. I've seen 2 students start learning English at the same time. One was fluent in 2 years, and the other was still struggling after 5 years. And both of them were smart. The difference wasn't intelligence, it was how they learned.
Yes, I always tell my students, it's not about being smart, it's about being consistent. Language learning is more about daily habits than talent.
Right, let's dig into this. Imagine someone studying English for 1 hour every day. At the end of the year, they'll have about 365 hours of practice. Now, another person studies 3 hours every day. At the end of the same year, they'll have more than 1,000 hours of practice. That's almost 3 times more progress.
That's why time matters so much. The more hours you put in, the faster you'll get there. But it's not only about time, it's also about quality.
Yes, quality is everything. If you spend those hours just memorizing vocabulary lists or filling out grammar worksheets, it won't make you fluent. You'll know rules, but you won't be able to use them in conversation.
I know a student who could explain the past perfect tense perfectly. She knew the rule better than I did. But when she tried to order a coffee in English, she froze. She didn't know what to say. Why? Because she never practiced real-life English.
That's such a good example. It's like knowing everything about how to swim, how to move your arms, how to kick your legs, but never actually going into the water. You don't become a swimmer by reading about swimming. You have to jump in.
Exactly. And that's the same with English. You have to jump in with speaking, listening, and using the language in real situations.
And that's where environment comes in. If you live in an English-speaking country, it's easier. You're surrounded by the language every day. You hear it on the radio, in the supermarket, on the street. You're forced to use it.
But most learners don't live in English-speaking countries. So what can they do?
Well, they can create their own English environment. For example, set your phone to English, watch movies without subtitles, listen to podcasts like this one, follow English-speaking YouTubers, or play online games in English. You can surround yourself with the language without leaving your country.
I remember one of my students who loved K-pop. She started watching interviews with her favorite singers in English. At first, she understood almost nothing, but she kept watching every day. 6 months later, she told me, Anna, I can finally understand what they're saying. That was her environment, music and interviews.
That's such a great story. And it shows that the environment doesn't have to be boring. It can be based on your interests. Music, sports, movies, games. The key is make English part of your life.
And then there's motivation. I think motivation is the fuel for everything. If you're motivated, you'll study more, you'll push yourself, you'll keep going even when it's difficult.
Yes, but motivation is tricky. At the beginning, motivation is high. You're excited, you buy a new notebook, maybe even a new pen. But after a few months, the excitement fades. That's when habits matter more than motivation.
That's true. When I was learning Spanish, I promised myself just 20 minutes a day. Some days I didn't feel like it, but I still did my 20 minutes. It became a habit, like brushing my teeth. And after a year, I realized I could have real conversations in Spanish.
That's such a powerful example. Small steps, repeated daily, build fluency. You don't need to study for 6 hours every day. You just need consistency.
And we can't forget research. According to the U.S. Foreign Service Institute, it takes about 600 to 750 hours of focused study for an English learner to become fluent.
Let's break that down. If you study 1 hour a day, that's about 2 years. If you study 3 hours a day, you could reach fluency in less than a year. And if you only study 1 hour a week, well, it might take a lifetime.
Yes, exactly. And we should also talk about what fluent really means, because many learners imagine fluency as speaking like a native speaker, but fluency has levels.
Right. There's conversational fluency, where you can chat with friends, order food, travel, and understand daily life. Then there's professional fluency, where you can use English for work, presentations, and emails. And finally, there's native-like fluency. That one takes years, sometimes decades, and honestly, most learners don't need it.
Yes, you don't need a perfect accent or perfect grammar to be fluent. Fluency means you can express yourself, understand others, and live your life in English. That's enough.
I remember one of my students who always worried about her accent. She said, Mr. Language, I want to sound like a native speaker. And I told her, you don't need to. Your accent is part of your identity. What matters is communication, not perfection.
That's such an important point. Learners should be proud of their accent. It shows their journey. And communication is the goal, not sounding perfect.
And speaking of perfection, another mistake learners make is waiting until they feel ready to speak. They say, I'll speak when my English is better. But the problem is, their English never gets better because they never practice speaking.
Yes, I always tell my students, don't wait. Start speaking now. Even if it's just a few words, even if you make mistakes, start today. That's how you improve.
I remember a funny story. One of my students once wanted to say, "I'm very full" after eating, but instead he said, "I'm pregnant." Everyone laughed, including him. And you know what? He never forgot the correct phrase after that. Mistakes are the best teachers.
Oh, I love that story. And it shows that mistakes are not failures. They're part of learning. Every mistake is a step toward fluency.
Exactly. So, Anna, if a student came to you and asked, "How long will it take me to be fluent?" what would you say?
I'd say don't focus on the time, focus on the process. Fluency will come if you're consistent. Maybe it's 1 year, maybe it's two, maybe longer. But if you study every day, it's guaranteed.
Yes, language learning is like planting a tree. You water it every day, and you don't see much change at first. But one day, you look at it, and it's grown. Fluency works the same way.
That's beautiful. And the best part is the journey can be fun. You can watch your favorite shows, listen to music, meet people from around the world. English is not just a language, it's a key to new experiences.
Exactly. So, friends, don't ask, "How long does it take?" Ask, "What can I do today?" If you do something every day, watch a video, read an article, speak to a friend, you're already on the road to fluency.
Yes, and enjoy the road. Don't wait until you're fluent to feel proud. Celebrate every small victory. The first time you understand a joke, the first time you order food without problems, the first time you watch a movie without subtitles. Those moments are fluency too.
Beautifully said, Anna. So, to answer the big question, how long does it take to be fluent? The answer is, it depends on you, on your time, your practice, your environment, and your motivation. But the good news is, if you keep going, fluency will always come.
Yes, fluency is not a race, it's a journey, and everyone can reach it.
And on that note, friends, thank you for joining us on Mr. Language.
We hope this conversation gave you clarity, motivation, and a little inspiration for your English learning.
Remember, be consistent, be brave, and enjoy the process.
See you next time, and until then, keep learning every day.